The night had fallen heavy over the town of Red River. A dusty wind swept through the wooden streets, rattling loose shutters and carrying the faint howl of coyotes in the distance. But inside the Silver Spur Saloon, the world was alive. Poker cards slapped against the tables, dice rolled across wood, and the piano man played a tune that tried to drown out the tension. Yet everyone knew tension always won. The doors creaked open and silence fell. The piano stopped mid-note. Even the drunkest men straightened in their chairs, because stepping through those doors was a man nobody wanted to see. Jabe Black Hand Carter. He wasn't just an outlaw. He was a storm in human form, tall, broad-shouldered, with a face carved by violence and a stare that froze blood in your veins. His left hand, the one they called Black Hand, was scarred and twisted, but deadly fast on the draw. He had robbed stagecoaches, burned ranches, and shot sheriffs in broad daylight. And now, he was here. The bartender swallowed hard as Jabe walked to the counter. Whiskey. Strong. His voice was gravel, like stones scraping together. The glass was poured, and Jabe lifted it to his lips. The room stayed silent, every man careful not to look him in the eye. But then, someone did. At the far corner of the saloon sat a young cowboy, slim, clean-shaven, barely out of his 20s. His boots were dusty, his hat pulled low, and a revolver rested on his hip, polished like it had never seen true blood. His name was Eli Turner. He wasn't famous. He wasn't feared, but he had the look of a man who carried something sharper than a gun: pride. As Jabe raised his glass, Eli raised his too. A silent toast, but bold enough to slice through the tension. The outlaw lowered his drink slowly, his eyes narrowing. The entire room stiffened. "Boy," Jabe's voice rumbled across the saloon. "Are you mocking me?" Eli smirked, his voice calm but cutting. "No, sir. Just drinking to your health. If a man like you still has any left." A gasp swept through the room. Every card, every poker chip, every drop of sweat froze in place. Nobody spoke to Jabe Carter like that. Jabe set his glass down, heavy against the counter. The wood creaked under his hand. Slowly, he turned. His boots thudded across the floor, each step like a drumbeat before war. He stopped at Eli's table, towering over him. "You got a death wish, boy?" Jabe growled. Eli leaned back in his chair, calm as a rattlesnake in the sun. "Not today. But I ain't about to bow my head to no man, not even the great Black Hand Carter." The crowd shifted nervously. Men glanced at the doors, wondering if they should run before bullets started flying. Jabe chuckled. "Low, dark, dangerous. You're either the bravest man in Red River or the dumbest." Eli tilted his glass, finishing the last sip of whiskey. Maybe both. The saloon was suffocating with tension now. Everyone knew it would end in blood. But Jabe surprised them. He pulled a chair, sat down across from Eli, and slammed a coin onto the table. "All right, boy. Let's make this interesting." The coin gleamed under the lamplight, scratched and worn, but heavy with meaning. "We flip this coin. Winner makes the rules. Loser, well, the Undertaker makes the rest." The crowd whispered in shock. It wasn't just a bet. It was a death sentence wrapped in chants. Eli didn't flinch. He leaned forward, eyes locked on Jabe's. "Fine. But let's raise the stakes." He placed his revolver on the table. The metal clicked against the wood, the weight of violence resting between them. One coin toss. Loser takes the first shot. The room erupted. Gasps, curses, chairs scraping. Even the bartender muttered a prayer under his breath. But Jabe? He grinned. It was the grin of a man who lived for danger, who thrived on death itself. "Boy," he said, "you just made the dumbest bet of your life." He picked up the coin, balanced. The coin began to fall.